Greetings in the name of the Most High Jah Rastafari. This is Agil Jen, Sister Jenny, Auntie Jenny. And if you want to get formal, it's Miss Jennifer Frederick, another edition of the We Talk the Thing Unfiltered. People, we started one time, the week has started already. Time and tide waits on no one. But you know, Agil Jen, others wait on some people share the life before you like it. Share it to other people. So we start this thing right one time. Oh Lord, what do you think? Well, you know, technology does go right. Sometime it right is, sometime it not. So we start this thing right. And you must have the pledge.
I solemnly pledge to dedicate my life to the service of my God and my country. I will honor my parents, my teachers, my leaders and my elders, and those in authority. I will be clean and honest in all my thoughts, my words and my deeds. I will strive in everything I do to work together with my fellow men of every creed and race for the greater happiness of all and the honor and glory of my country.
And as I say, we always have some good news, whether historical, whether it's sporting news, whatever it is, always have something to share. And in respect and yes, in respect of the First Peoples, I will continue to play this. The First Peoples of Trinidad and Tobago, this is for you all. I will play it every time I have my show. Yeah, never forget. We like to forget history and we like to forget people who make history and we like to forget we own history. So let me continue. I saw this. This was a young chap at his graduation and he gave a speech. Please listen because although it's not Trinidad, it resonates, I'm sure, or it will resonate, I'm sure, with those who are watching.
I want to tell you about a moment that would have almost stopped me from crossing this very stage. Today, I stand here as many things. First, as the son of a single immigrant Haitian mother who died young, and now the adopted son of a single immigrant father who I owe my life to. Second, I might be a confident young man today, but I once doubted my very ability to make it this far. And third, a mirror, a reflection to those of you who are sitting in these seats and have had to endure to get to this point. We all have our stories. Coming from an abused past in the foster care system, I became acquainted with struggle and loss very early in my life. Before I graduated high school, I had been put back in the system for the third time, and I had also lost my mother. This, among so many other obstacles, only added to the difficulty of me seeing and believing in my potential. I came to UMass Dartmouth through the College Now program, an opportunity designed for students who are still discovering that said potential. Yes, sir. I was given a simple requirement: earn a 2.0 GPA. And despite that wonderful opportunity, I didn't meet it. Not because I couldn't, but because I didn't take it seriously enough. When I found out that I might be dismissed, I had to tell my father. And in that moment, I felt shame. Not just because I was failing, but because this was the man who had sacrificed so much, taking up so many shifts to take me in from the system and give me a place to call home. I realized there was no backup plan, no safety net. If this didn't work out, I wouldn't just disappoint myself, but those who had poured into me and saw what I couldn't. That conversation forced me to choose: remain a shadow of my potential, or become the person those who believed in me already saw. I chose to become more. But as many of you here who are sitting with me today know, choosing growth doesn't instantly give you confidence. Walking into rooms, little voices in the back of your head will tell you, you don't belong here. You aren't smart enough to be here. A million thoughts went through my mind that all meant the same thing: that I couldn't do it. Behind the calm exterior, I felt siloed and considered giving up more times than I can count. But instead of leaving, I leaned in. I asked for support. I got involved on campus, meeting the wonderful peers that sit in front of me here today, and through organizations like the Black Student Union, the Haitian American Student Association, Moi Haïtien.
There's not much more I could add to that. He would have said everything that a child who would have had struggles, but eventually had that support and the scaffolding of family, whether biological or otherwise, and would have succeeded even when people were telling him that he would not. How much of our children have that type of support, especially now? Especially now where we have so much unemployment, and I have to keep going back to that, because if you're not employed, not working, the parents can't send the children to school. They're under pressure because they have bills to pay. They have things to do, and still the child, what education are our children getting so that they could become one day to stand up and speak like that in front of audience for graduation? How much of our children now who are at SCA and can't go to school because not of no fault of theirs or their parents, but because the UNC take away the job from them? So because of that next 5 years when they're supposed to be leaving secondary school, that they didn't even finish secondary school to even graduate, to be able to stand and speak about the struggle. All they think about that now. All they feel this thing is a joke. This thing is serious thing. It's children lives at stake here. The future are all we children. Don't feel it's only African children, all we children going through that, because not everybody single person with a fire is an African person. There are people of Indian descent also as a part of CPEP, them too going through it. But you know how the thing go, they mightn't say nothing because the kind of lashback that us get from the community for talking out. But that's our next story. Let me continue with the thing. So listen to this here also inspiring. I hope you already captured it because it's from India.
मुझे मेरी खुद की एक पहचान बनानी है. लोग बोले कि मुझे शाहीन की तरफ बनना है.
Shaheen Darjada is a judo champion from Gujarat. She is a Siddhi, an African origin community living in isolation in India. Judo has brought Shaheen to this state-of-the-art facility in Ahmedabad, a city of over 5 million people. Back in her village, girls lead a very simple life.
वो 8 या 10 तक पढ़ाई करती है, फिर छोड़ देते हैं और घर पे काम और ऐसे मजदूरी और शादी फिर कर लेते हैं। कुछ कुछ होता है वो बाहर जाते हैं अभी देख देख के, वरना पहले ऐसा कुछ नहीं होता था।
The Siddhis were brought to India mostly as slave labor centuries earlier. Slavery had been abolished about 150 years ago, but their distinct features marked them out. And they still faced stigma and discrimination.
वो बताते थे अफ्रीका से आए, अफ्रीकन है। पहले तो हमारा कोई ऐसा था कि मेरे को पानी भी पीने की इजाज़त नहीं थी, हमें ऐसे पानी दे के पिलाया जाता था, वाट के में लेके खोबे में डाल के।
Even as social attitudes changed, the around 20,000 members of the Siddhi community in India remained reclusive.
It's a community that is invisible to most in the country. Seeing it in ghettos, in villages and small towns, living in poverty with lack of education and minimal exposure to the opportunities and world outside, for children here, sports is not just about trophies and medals. It's playing to be seen.
Most Siddhi girls only have access to basic resources like this abandoned mill compound. Now, with guidance from community leaders and sports schemes aimed at developing their potential, some girls like Shaheen are able to step out.
हम भी तालुका लेवल पे जाते हैं और टैलेंट को ढूंढते हैं। छोटे छोटे बच्चे लाइक 10-11 साल के, 12 साल के, 13 साल के, उनमें हम फाइंड करते हैं कौन सा बच्चा किस गेम के लिए सूटेबल है। जिनके पास पावर एंड स्पीड अच्छी है उनको हम जूडो में लेते हैं, जिससे कि वो अच्छा ट्रेन कर पाए जूडो के अंदर।
At the World Championship Juniors in Peru, Shaheen represents her community on the international stage, but loses in the early rounds. And yet, when she reaches home, she gets a hero's welcome.
कुछ नहीं, अभी तो ऐसे करती हूँ कि नहीं, अब रोने धोने से कुछ नहीं होगा, अब ट्रेनिंग करो ज़्यादा और करके फिर अगले साल दिखा दो कि नहीं मैं कर सकती हूँ। ऐसा इतना करना है कि नहीं, सिद्धि समाज में भी सब ऐसे कर सकते हैं कि हम भी निकल सकते हैं आगे।
Resilience. That is all I would say, resilience. Know your history. I saw also our junior cycling youths, well, I said junior anyway, they have done well, so listen to them at the Pan Games. They won silver.
We're here at the Trinidad and Tobago Olympic House in Port of Spain, who have recently held their first medal upgrade ceremony at the junior level. This comes after the Trinidad and Tobago junior men's cycling sprint team have been upgraded for bronze to silver at the 2025 Junior Pan American Games in Paraguay. It was a splendid performance in 2025 by Trinidad and Tobago men's junior cyclists Daniel James, Chilani Ned and Ryan Deabro at the Junior Pan American Games in Paraguay that saw TNT defeat Venezuela to secure bronze in the men's sprint event, with Colombia finishing runners-up and Mexico winning gold. A memorable moment for the TNT trio. After the event, surprising news broke that one of the Colombian riders allegedly took an illegal substance and Colombia was stripped of their silver medals, hence the TNT upgrade. Fast forward nearly a year later, they were all smiles when Trinidad and Tobago Olympic Committee President Diane Henderson presented the three cyclists with their upgraded Pan American silver medals.
On behalf of Trinidad and Tobago Olympic Committee, it is my honor and privilege to formally recognize this achievement, because you have earned it. I want Danielle, Delani, and Ryan to understand you are part of a lineage of Trinidad and Tobago athletes who refuse to compromise, who did things the right way, and who were ultimately recognized for it.
President of the Trinidad and Tobago Cycling Federation, Rowena Williams, couldn't be prouder of the trio.
So they put in the work. They worked hard to be where they are at this time. And they deserve to be treated with honesty and integrity.
Adrian Lazar, TTT Sport.
I want to thank Didi. A lot of people who sometimes listen or the program or don't listen, but they may have, any articles they might be interested thing that I'll be interested in, they would send it, I would get it and look at it. So I got something from Didi. Thank you, Didi. And other people that send me to a solid again horrors. I appreciate everybody who does send me, but sometimes I don't call everybody name, right? I just call in Didi today because Didi don't even live in Trinidad, right? So Trinidad and Tobago athletes deliver strong performance in track and field events. Let me see if director had put anything together with. Okay, great. So I'll just read it. I'll read the article. Tyra Gittens soared to women's long jump bronze at the USATF LA Grand Prix in California over the weekend. And this was, well, it's not 7 hours ago right now, right? So it was, this article came out today. So as I was saying, Tyra Gittens, she would have scored bronze in long jump at the USATF LA Grand Prix in California over the weekend with a season best of 6.80 meters leap, the third longest jump of her career. Then we had Dylan Leacock, clocked a personal best at 49.83 seconds to claim silver at the men's 400 hurdles at the LA Sprint Series, while Eric Harrison sprinted to bronze in the men 100 meter in 10.20 seconds. Then we have Daniel Igobui, placed 6th in the men's triple jump at the EAP Malta International Meet with a best effort at 14.55. Nathan Kamabach finished 14th overall in the men's 800 at the USATF LA Grand Prix. We have Jaleese Alexander, finished 19 in the women's high jump for Wichita State University and the NCAA Division I Outdoor Championship in Oregon. We have Jeanette Gans, placed 12 in the women's long jump for Baylor University. Reese Webster helped Auburn in the 4x100 relay. And they speak about also the Trinidad and Tobago Youth Cycling Track team. They had a bronze medal upgraded to silver, and they were the Pan Am Games, and I just showed that. So athletes are out there, and they are performing for different universities out there. I would suspect they have scholarships out there, so sports can also pay off. Yeah, so congratulations to all our athletes who are out there on scholarship and who are performing and breaking records at the different universities. So when the time comes, first have Olympic team, once they make the numbers, you know, we're going for we peeps, right? We Trinbago peeps. So let me continue. I'm also seeing that the West Indies women cricket team, big congratulations to them. They won the Ivara's Women International Tri-Series in early June 2026. Defeated Ireland and Pakistan. They secured the championship after an undefeated run in their first few matches, including an 8-wicket victory over Ireland and a 25-win run over Pakistan. So congratulations there to our West Indies women cricket team. I'm also seeing this young lady here. I'm putting up a picture because it is in the article. So apparently the parents would have given, I'm sure, permission for that, right? Otherwise I would not have done that. It has an article attached. It's from The Guardian 2 days ago. So young editor brings fresh voice to famous mom's steel pan tale. They say the best stories come from unexpected places. From Spree Simon, it was junk, discarded pan, tins, and steel drums pulled from the scrap heaps of John Trinidad. For 11-year-old Saria Aisha, it was her mother's desk. This Read Caribbean Month, a debut picture book biography celebrates the ordinary boy who created something extraordinary, the steel pan, an instrument. Spree, written by award-winning novel lawyer Salis Mohammed and illustrated by Corey Thomas, chronicles the life of a teenager innovator who on Carnival Tuesday 1946 became the first person to play a recognizable tune on a steel pan. transforming what others throw away into music that would define any. But before the book reached readers worldwide, it passed through one small but critical pair of hands, Saria Aisha, Celeste's daughter, the first child reader, editor, and contributor. I enjoyed offering a child's perspective to the book and getting to the first child reader, editor, and getting to be the first child reader, editor, and contributor to it. I want to become a writer someday, that's Syria talking. So this contribution felt like being one, which made me feel like my dreams are somewhat achievable if I use what I earn and work hard. That is what she had to say about her mother's book that will be launched internationally. One, did you learn anything new about Trinidadian history or the steel pan that you? And this is her response. I was surprised that the steel pan started from the simple tongue of John John, where a boy was fixing his broken kettle. Suddenly heard a note. Prior to the news of this book, I went to MITTCO, where they make steel pans, and the process seemed extremely complicated. So I thought that Spree would have grown up, then gone somewhere to work on a steel pan. But reading that Spree did it with a rock, wood from his backyard, I was shocked. 2. What do you think Spree Simon would feel knowing children today are reading his story? She said, I would assume that Mrs. Spree Simon would be glad that his story is and will be cherished by young children across Trinidad, or maybe even the world. I imagine that when the book comes out, he'll be doing somersaults in heaven. It's not easy to invent something, let alone be remembered for it. So I hope that the relatives of Spree would buy many copies and cherish them, especially the young relatives. That's Syria talking, this little here, Papa. They ask her, you have read the book how many times now? Is it a favorite part or page that stands out to you? And she said, I really like the part of the book where Spree is now in John John, poking through the scrap in the side of the road. And whenever he finds something useless, he holds it up as if it is of immense value and says, look at this. It shows that we can appreciate all the junk and garbage we come across. We just choose the fuss over other things instead. A poor boy who had almost nothing to himself chose to cherish the scraps of the wealthy as they threw. This really puts the meaning behind the saying, one man's trash is another man's treasure. I also like how the illustrator depicted the bustling city and made Spree stand out amongst it all. As you take a look at the pictures, your eyes may quickly glance at him running with a piece of metal scrap. This is always a silent mission going on amongst the loud city. Papa, let me tell you something. It goes on a little more, but hear what? You see this little girl? I can't wait for she to start to write. Her response to the questions after she listened, if you didn't know it's this little girl responding, you wouldn't think so. So to her mother again, scaffolding like the youth who spoke in the graduation. He spoke about parents and the father, the adopted father out, and he wanted to make sure he did his father proud and stuff. This little young lady here, not only doing she mother proud, but Trinidad and Tobago. What a treasure. And when you see your children can read, their imagination does expand, and they can bring fresh ideas, they can speak with authority. Yeah? Get your children to the library or do download that do pay or that pay, whatever the hell it name, let them read, listen, that kind of thing, right? It's important. It is important. This little girl is a treasure. I'm also seeing, Trinidadians all over the place. I'm seeing here a Trinidadian again. Let me see what we do. Like I just had to read it from the story. So let me just read it from here. Trinidadian born legislator gets board coalition support. And although I clicked on the story, I don't know why this story ain't coming up. It's just to tell you at the end of the day, it's about training everything be like salt. It didn't have a place with Obi. Open this way. It was in the Trinidad Express. Yes, I got it open. As early voting in the New York Democratic primary gets underway on Saturday, Trinidadian-born New York State Assembly member Jamie Williams, drew support from a broad coalition of elected officials, labor organizations, and faith leaders and community advocates across Brooklyn. Early voting continues through Sunday, June the 21st, with Election Day on Tuesday, June 23rd. Williams represents, so that has to be the guy in the middle. I hope it's a man or it's a woman. Let me just, right, it's a her. So it's not the man in the middle. So it's one of them, and I feel must be the person in blue is the person who speak about. Williams' representative told the Caribbean Media Corporation that the endorsement reflects the work on affordability, neighborhood investment, community services, and support for homemakers, tenants, seniors, and working families throughout the 59th. Her district comprised of Brooklyn, neighborhoods of Canaries, Flatland, Mill Basin, Marine Park, Virgin Beach, Georgetown, and surrounding communities. Williams said the support reflects years of working alongside residents and stakeholders in securing resources, funding, and opportunities that benefit local families. So we just want to tell Ms. Williams there, all the best. I know you're American by birth, but you're forgetting your Trini base. At the end of the day, we're proud that you're still right. So that is Trinidadian-born legislator get coalition support, and she is an assembly member. So let's see how that works for her. I don't really fully understand the American system and whatever. But I don't know if this means to say if they get vote for she will end up in the Congress or whatever. Yeah? I just saying. But congratulations there. You know how we just do it. We always say, hi, Andrew from UK. Thanks always for listening. Thank you always for looking on, and everybody else. I appreciate everybody so much. So let me continue the things. You know, I have to get plenty good news because let me tell you something. The kind of bad news that I right now, sometimes doesn't need something to just keep your mind off things. Yes? And if this is things that successes that we cheering and thing from Trinidad, we enjoy that. Eh? So this here is a group of young ladies from, we will get to the back and I'll just now, let me just enjoy the successes and thing, right? This was in the Guardian a little while ago, but it's okay. San Fernando Central wins Victoria Inter-School Debate Championship. So those are the young ladies there. Students Amila Guerra from Left, Jada John, Slain Singh, and Natania Batiste, as they all display their certificates after winning the debate on the topic. The SEA exam has outlived its relevance in modern education. During the Victoria Education District Inter-School Debate 2026 at St. Joseph Convent, San Fernando last week. I would really like to get a copy of the, if they have it produced in writing, I would really love to hear what was their take on that question. And here the topic, the SCA exam has outlived its relevance in modern education. I would really, really love to hear what they would have said. So let me continue. So what we have again. Oh, some birthday greetings. I understand that one of our faithful listeners, Miss Dina, her birthday, I think, was Saturday. So all people whose birthdays are missed because I didn't know, this one is for all you. Miss Dina, do a little wine for me when I hear you say, I wait do a little wine, don't go wrong too much because I know the knee, I think it's your knee that's gave problems or some back and all right. I go wrong for you, don't worry. You go help me come back up. So happy and strong to all those who birthdays I miss and to Mr. Dina.
There we go, Travis. Feeling to sing. I feeling to sing. I feeling to sing. I feeling to sing. Sing happy birthday to you. Sing happy birthday birthday to you. Sing happy birthday, sing happy birthday, happy birthday to. One more time, let me go sing happy birthday to. Oh my God, happy birthday to you. Sing happy birthday, sing happy birthday, happy birthday to you.
Yeah? Hope you had a blast, my darling. This one is for Cheryl. Cheryl, go to work. Hear what Cheryl tells his sister. Only listen to this. Only thing they right here, they're out in foreign, but they're real and true. It's going on in the Caribbean, you know. Cheryl, go to work. She said, she twin. Go to work. Just a little piece to you. A little piece.
Boss, I'm not coming to work today. I can't see. No, nothing wrong with my eyes. I just can't see myself coming to work today. Thank you. In other words, I ain't not doing one raw soul today. Don't tell me about work.
That was the work. Let me continue. They continues that. So listen to, you know, as I say, we love to big up me and Motley, and because of that big up, I just play anything I hear from she, right? So listen to she doing big things out in Barbados, you know. Listen to her.
The act is meant to serve real people doing real business in the real economy. Tonight is a celebration, but it's also, for me, a responsibility. The success will not depend only on a countdown tonight. It will be measured by adaptation. So you gotta get everybody on board. It will be measured by its reliability.
Done. Done just like that right
Done.
We have also small businesses who very often go for loans. They have no books to keep track of what they were making. When we have this digital payment system now, they will be able to take their digital records and show the bank managers, I am worthy, lend me the money. So there are a number of different benefits, and we want people to know that we have done this for my friend, the shopkeeper in Northumberland. We have done this for the people who fixing cars in Cave Hill. We have done this for the people who are itinerant vendors. We have done this for the coconut vendors. We've done this for all the people who otherwise either would find difficulty in being able to deal with transactions, who would be vulnerable in security situations, and who at the end of the day need to establish a record of credit with the financial institutions.
Well, me and Motley doing everything to benefit and enhance the lives of our citizens in this country. In her country, in Barbados, it have them in this country who disenfranchising. I ain't said disenfranchising, I said disenfranchising the own citizens. So listen to these comments coming from former journalists and people who in the PSC and all, everybody writing something, all right? So this is coming from Tony Fraser. Yes, I think this is Tony Fraser. It was in The Guardian. He said, governance by threats. Moving along cannot deliver positive results. So I'll just read a little piece. There are a few indications that Prime Minister Kamala Persad-Cecil's government is approaching a juncture of uncertainty, with trouble pretending or with trouble portending along the road. Aware of that emerging possibility, there are displays of discomfort leading to contrary actions. The success after the first state of emergency, that is, of the 42% reduction in murders, has been used as a lifeline to indicate success by the government's action. However, The current data generated by the police relating to murders show that the increasing ineffectiveness of the SOE model. So let me read over that in proper context. However, the current data generated by the police relating to murders show the increasing ineffectiveness of the SOE model. For the comparative period of 2026 with 2025, the murder count was 169 for this year, as opposed to 173 for 2025. For June of 2026, the murders up to Thursday 11th are 17, compared to 12 on the same date in June 2025. It's clear, therefore, that the continuing dependence on the SOE solution, the Zozo bill, having been strangled in Parliament, is losing its effectiveness. Most recently, the police resorted to the banning of protests in 15 selected areas as another measure to curb the dissatisfaction of protesters. The above reality, therefore, must be of serious cause for concern for Prime Minister Prasad Bisesa, Attorney General, and ministers with national security portfolios, Commissioner Guevara, and the National Security Council. They must now be contemplating the realities that rounding up and locking up a few gang members during an emergency will not and cannot solve the crime problem, which is now encamped in and around the society. For over 25 years, there has been little meaningful penetration into the gangs, the activities, and the recruitment of young members, all of which has been collectively negated any benefits which has and can be derived from the imposition of continuing states of emergency. What is most important and relevant is that the varied reasons for young people, especially being vulnerable to adopting criminal lifestyles, have not even been considered, far less addressed, with plans and programs to conquer the reasons behind the criminalizing of groups of young people and the elders who draw them into the blanket of crime. Attorney General John Jeremy and his Prime Minister Prasad Bisesa are again adopting the strategy of threatening groups of citizens, on this occasion, the 1%. In the latest and most unfortunate attack without supporting evidence, AG Jeremy has warned over the accusation and threats against the 1%. The preferred and productive action is for the AG and his PM to take the information to the police and let the criminal justice system deal with it. Similarly, to counter criminality allegedly spread deep into the politics of the country is for PM Prasad Bisesa to hand the information she has that the PNM is funded by drug dealers to the police. And he went on a little more, so if you're interested, go and look for Tony Fraser's article, Governance by Threat, Move Along, deliver positive results. And we have also Mr. Nizam, I think that's his name. Nizam, I see what they're saying about JTAM to make serious announcement at Labor Day celebration on Friday. Okay, Kevin's troops are. Oh God, let me get some more. Tell me more and I go get these troops. Avec ça qui a troops are, you know. Former Speaker of Parliament chaos fuels anti-social behavior. The behavior witnessed in the Parliament on Friday night is being sharply criticized by the former Speaker of the House, Nizam Mohammed. So let me see a little piece of what Mr. Mohammed said. Former Speaker of Parliament chaos fuels right. The behavior witnessed in the Parliament on Friday, come on, man. Give me a minute. Hey. Again, I'm just reading a little piece. The behavior witnessed in the parliament on Friday night is being sharply criticized by former Speaker of the House, Nizam Mohammed. Mohammed, in a comment given via telephone to Guardian Media, said, "We are oppressed by crime in the country. Sadly, behavior in the parliament is aiding, abetting, and fueling antisocial behavior. Whether members of parliament realize this, regrettably, such conduct is already spilling over to the Senate as the chaos intensifies, and this is a good development." He continued, "There is total disregard for the standing orders when it comes to order and conduct of proceedings, resulting in this breakdown that we're experiencing. There is an entire chapter on the rules of order which places the responsibility squarely on the hands of the Speaker." Mohammed, who served as Speaker from 1987 to 1991, also defended a muting of mics by the parliamentary staff, explaining that they were doing their jobs as instructed to maintain order as well as broadcast standards. If proceedings have descended into disorder and the Speaker is attempting to restore order, all microphones, whether government or opposition, should be muted until the Speaker regains control of the House. Likewise, if a member has been speaking and the Speaker rises to call that member to order, making a ruling, otherwise intervene, the member's microphone should be muted while the Speaker is speaking, he said. The point is not to silence anyone. The point is to preserve the authority of the chair and the orderly conduct of parliamentary proceeding. I rest that right there. He says some other things while leaving it there. But I want to also tell the goodly Mr. Nizam Mohammed. I want to tell him, when you look at who is the Speaker of the House, it don't start bad day already. Well, again, I say that when you look at the Speaker of the House, the UNC choice of the Speaker of the House, it done gone bad there already. There's a man who was convicted in jail for fraud and all kind of thing. Run from it. So as it say, Trump bail or whatever the case may be, that's to get them come back here. All them kind of thing happen. And that is Speaker in the House. I just saying. So when you start in iniquity, when you start bad seed, and when you start in dirtiness and stinkness, it don't get clean. It'll just get more dirty and affect more people and dirty more people. So let me continue. All you good, yes? All it doesn't want to call out the issue. All it doesn't want to call out the issue. Who again talking? The National Parent Teachers Association, everybody having the say. Let me see, let me miss that face there. So they can at least see who I'm talking about. So the National Parent Teacher Association has expressed concern over the conduct of Member of Parliament during Friday, or members of Parliament during Friday's standing Finance Committee meeting, saying the exchanges send the wrong message to young people and undermine efforts to address indiscipline in schools. And I also want to tell the NTA, they're very correct, just like Mr. Nizam, very correct, very correct. But let me go at the heart of the problem now. Let me treat with the heart of the problem now. Who is the Speaker of the House? Let me treat with that now. Let me treat with those things now and treat with the fact that even the former Speaker, Mr. Nizam Mohammed, that was the whole bacchanal, anything saying, muting a mic is nothing unusual, because if the Speaker is on his leg, you have to mute everybody mic so you ain't get chatter. And when one person talking, you can't have everybody mic on. So whether it's opposition, whether it's Prime Minister, whatever, if you're not standing, somebody else standing, your mic will be off so that nobody hear this chat. Yeah? Or let's talk the real thing, talk the real problems. So let me continue. But you're correct, Mr. NTA, to criticize what you're saying, but say where's the problem too. So let me continue. So as I say, everybody has something to say. You say, you know, who again? So listen to this. Who again? Again, all it's straight, you know. So only go see who my people complaining, and I want to hear who actually saying what the real problem is. Just let me see. I ain't hear nobody saying what is the real problem. Okay, we didn't see Petiari, so it's all right. So this was in the Express. Dr. Wayne Kublal Singh, he says, gangster governance Why hide behind the cover of the parliament and allege, threaten, insinuate, demonize? John bluff, scapegoating. And why is this defending by Prime Minister who sat alongside you whilst you enunciated with utmost care your prepared text? So let me see where exactly you're talking about, just a little piece of the background. Oh yes, Father, this was in the Trinidad Express. Even if the Syrian Lebanese citizenry had not distinguished itself in Trinidad and Tobago, it will still be guaranteed the protection and rights enshrined in our national constitution. Distinguish itself in what itinerant cloth hawking, in hardware and haberdashery, vending, in malls and bazaars building, in the law and jurisprudence, in activism, in the little touch of magic which they brought with them from Arab West Asia, the food, the cuisine, the chickpea, the celery split peas, savory, and all kind of other things, right? So you're talking about the disrespect. All of a sudden showing to the quote-unquote 1%, but we come into that. So I'm just showing you that people are speaking out in media in general, organized commerce and fast food trade. Even our Syrian Lebanese citizens who began arriving in Trinidad and Tobago, even if our Syrian Lebanese citizens who began arriving in Trinidad and Tobago in 1904 had sat on their haunches in those penny pinching boarding houses along Marine Square corner, George, Duke, Duncan, and Charlotte Street, and coins, gambled and play cards, they would have still been guaranteed such protections and rights. The list of national contributions by and on behalf of Syrian Lebanese citizens in the face of a reprehensible serpentine attack by the Attorney General is non-relevant, immaterial. No such defense is required. Right? And it goes on, but you know them as writers with big, big words, and I ain't in the mood to pronounce some of them words on them, right? But Dr. Kubla Hussain is coming out in defense of the Syrian Lebanese community, which she will, because it's unfair. It will look as though it is an unfair attack on the Syrian Lebanese community. Yeah? We call that prestige holding and all that. A lot of people who can get work in the government service who may not have finished school, who may have just want something to do while they continue studying, they have been hired in those areas. Let me see them who complaining about the Syrian Lebanese community. Let them stand up, sit up, and hire all them children who, all the peoples who may not be so academically inclined, or who just holding on till they better themselves or whatever the case. Let me see them hire them now. Let me see it now. Talk, you talk. You can pretend that. Boy, let me continue. So, the bacchanal that some of the people I read from alluding to, are giving only a little piece of the bacchanal will happen Friday. All you listen for yourself. Remember, former Speaker of the House said muting the mic is nothing unusual. It happens, and he explained why. So listen to bacchanals here.
Has happened. The technicians who are operating the audio system of the Parliament cannot determine who they want to listen to. And therefore, I am seeking your direct intervention, because this is not the first time. So the bias. No, I am not going to apologize for that at all.
My mic was being turned off too.
The biased approach by the staff.
Okay.
And the technicians to mute while we speak, and sometimes the audio while it is being played or the Parliament channel will not be tolerated. And therefore we ask, from now I'm signaling that there will be a meeting of the Broadcasting Committee to treat with these matters.
All right.
Who the hell you telling hell? Who the hell you telling hell?
Okay, let's. Okay, it's 9:30 in the night. There's a solution to this. We will convene the meeting of the broadcast committee. There's a way to get the empirical evidence and data. Let's not allow ourselves to be sidetracked into this and prolong this issue, which can be dealt with in another way. Right?
You can't. What? What is this?
Mr. Speaker, this government is a bunch of dictators.
This was raised already.
Who are you? This is tyranny.
You're out of place.
This was raised
But he's
already.
out of place. He can't. He gonna
Tyranny in this parliament, Mr.
He attacked the staff.
They just bully the staff.
It's out of place.
What is wrong with you? What is wrong with all you?
I am going
Mr.
to
Chairman,
stop this
we will
now.
not continue to tolerate.
You can't do that.
I am going to stop this now.
That is
Everyone
ridiculous.
Papa, one, Bacchanal for so listen.
I am going to stop this now.
That is
Everyone
ridiculous.
be quiet.
This is a free and democratic society. What the hell is wrong with this
Everyone
government?
be quiet.
What's wrong with this government?
Out of place.
Everyone.
What is
Can't talk to staff like that.
protect? And you have not come to the defense of your own staff. You have
Call
not
the
come to the
police for
defense
him.
of your own staff in the parliament, Mr.
Call the police for him.
I did not see any of that.
That's bullying behavior.
I don't know if he was talking to or whatever he was doing.
Go and make a report to the police.
And he went to the technician, he might, and I don't know what he said to him. And even if this is not
Okay. It's 9:33. Let us all calm down, exercise a measure of verbal and let's exercise some restraint. This unbridled shouting is not helpful. There is a way we can do this. If it is, there's an allegation or whatever it is, we can collect the empirical data subjected to analysis. But for the sake of moving on, let us move on. We have 10 heads yet to go. Okay? There is another way to deal with that. There is another way to deal with that, and you know it, you're an experienced parliamentarian. We are sitting in committee here. Okay? So you know the other way to deal with that. Everyone knows their way to deal with that. Procedurally.
Mr. Chair, as the chairman, you can also address the matter and say that no staff is to be approached by anyone or something.
Right. And further, I would ask all members, please exercise a great degree of restraint with the Parliament staff. The Parliament staff, they go beyond the call of duty by and large. All right? So let's...
Okay. Part 3.
Well, Port of Spain South, there is Port of Spain South. Port of Spain South. I am instructing you to be quiet.
Why, Mr. Chairman? Why should I be quiet in light of this
Because we are
injustice, Mr.
moving
Chairman?
on.
Mr.
So
Chairman,
be
first time.
quiet. We are moving on. Issue has somewhat been dealt with. We will deal with it through another procedural device and mechanism. If you do not allow me to move on, we are moving on. Honourable members, the question is that the 2026 appropriation for Head 65.
Chairman, hand up to ask a question. I've written it down here already.
Listen, you all need to tell me prior to what it is, okay? All of this foolishness.
Mr. Chair, the member for Cook.
I did not
And
see
so
that.
what? And so what? And so what? Mr. Chair, if you allow me, and for clarity, for the public record, I'm a member of the Broadcasting Committee. This situation with regards to the mic was raised before. We raised the situation of the government mic continually being muted. It was raised before. Do not let us sit here and act like it's the first time. It was raised before by myself and member Amin. It was raised
Okay. The sitting of this house is going to be suspended for 10 minutes.
Keep in mind again what the former Speaker of the House, Mr. Nizam Mohammed, said. Meeting of the mic is nothing unusual. When the Speaker has the floor, you have to mute everybody mic so that they don't talk and onset a chatter. And if somebody, a member on the floor speaking, meaning standing up to speak, their mic is on and you mute everybody else's mic because you don't want somebody might sneeze, somebody might call, somebody might say, what the hell is this? And then I start to chatter to mix up everything so people can't hear. So it's nothing unusual, but hear the behavior. Hear this one now. And I will tell all lady lately.
We just want to simply ask a question of you as chair of these proceedings. Are you going to allow or to ignore what transpired a short while ago where the leader of government business was caught taking a photograph of a member of staff and attacking a member of staff in this intimidation way? Are we going to allow that? Are we going to allow that?
First of all,
it has to be addressed, Mr. Chair.
First of all, I don't have any evidence before me now of that. I did not see the leader of government business do that, first of all. If someone else saw that, that's a matter for you to use a different avenue to do whatever. Procedurally, you can do whatever you wish with that.
So, Mr. Speaker, is it that there is not going to be an investigation with respect to what was brought to your attention? I don't expect you to see it. I don't expect you to have the evidence.
Hold on. What standing order am I going to utilize to unilaterally commence an investigation, to use your own words?
If it is that parliamentary staff are not going to be provided with protection by the parliament from members intimidating or assaulting them, and we are now going to be dependent on standing orders, something is fundamentally wrong.
Mr. Chair, in terms of fairness, the opposition placed certain matters on the record. The government has to also respond on the record by saying that we completely reject the submissions by the opposition.
Before the member of Arima, if she would permit me, for the record, no one on this side in the opposition has raised any issue with a complaint being made about the muting of the mics.
All right.
The issue that we are raising and bringing to the attention is the intimidation of parliamentary staff by the member for Cooper South. Let us not conflate and confuse the issue.
You've said that.
Okay. So, apparently, Ms. Back, apparently the member of parliament for Kuva, is it? I think. MP Barry, Minister of Public Utilities, Mr. Barry Padarat would have been so displeased, I guess, I don't know, and according to what they say in the parliament, I wasn't there, that with this whole meeting my thing, he went and take a picture of the public officer. Now remember, them, the clerk who's sitting next to the speaker, who does help the speaker and get them ready for the chamber and wherever, and who does deal with the mic and the broadcasting, they are not politicians. They are public officers, whether on contract or not. And just as the CPO protects we public officers, well, one of our public officers from the Minister of Finance, it's the same way that in the Parliament, if you have an issue with one of the public officers or whatever, they have a supervisor. that you can go through and complain, not go and take people picture because he's a government minister. We don't know. We're taking the picture for. It is unethical. It is intimidating. That could lead to victimization. And I will come to PSA just now why you mightn't hear nothing from she because them are fat, eating from the choice of the government. The same bourgeoisie class is we talking about and calling politicians and saying while them sitting and eating and drinking good, the peasants or the proliferates, I think you call it that, the working class getting crumbs. It's the same bourgeoisie class them now become because I would always want to be. So them eating nice. They pulling money from here. They're on state board. So they're mouth full. Them can't come out and talk on behalf of no worker in this country because they have become the employer themselves. And if they talk against their own employer or their own self, they could probably lose their board job and their board appointment. All that. So they have nothing to say. They wipe in their mouth. You say, oh, Elan doesn't say nothing again because he's minister now. But when he was president general or whatever, at CWTU, he had fighting him. He was fighting for workers. Now he is fighting for workers. The money fat. It is alleged he wife on a board or some kind of bacchanal. So things nice with Young Kizar or Cesar and all of them. I want to see if they're going to be done there in Labour. They set a deceitful nastiness. I talking about from a Labour perspective, they try because they must defend the Labour. We them to defend that youth in the parliament. But I digress a little. Let me continue. So listen to this from Rambles. It was wrong. It was wrong. It was wrong. If that is what public utilities minister did, going to take picture. You don't have to do all that. And the excuse after is that you wanted to make sure it's the right person or some kind of thing. So you don't need to do that. There's something called attendance register. And in that government attendance register, people come to public officers, they write their name in it. All they have to go to the supervisor, they will pull the register, they go see who worked 6 o'clock, who worked 5 o'clock, who they worked 10 o'clock, the person name, they would know. You don't have to take picture for that. But let me continue.
The country has now found itself in a situation where a sitting government minister left where he was sitting inside the parliament to go and intimidate one of the parliamentary staff. And then the prime minister herself not coming out to condemn it. But then again, why would she when she was the very one who threatened to cuff down another parliamentarian some months ago? Imagine leaving your seat to run up on the mic person to take a picture of them for what? What are you going to do? For them to lose a job, to intimidate them. When workers at certain ministries say that they are working under fear and they're afraid to speak about anything because they might lose their job or victimization, believe them. Because if this is their action, sitting in the parliament on camera, on mic for the country to see, imagine how they just act in their ministries when they have all the power. And like I say what they want, he have some he-she tendencies. I've never seen a man complain like he does complain. Bro does complain for everything.
It was at the front office here. I had to walk for 2 miles in the rain with my supporters. I was not allowed to go in with any vehicles, etc. In several constituencies, experiencing long lines, unable to vote in a timely manner, having to deal with inexperienced staff. Staff in some instances, when I came here to vote, it took me a few minutes actually to be called into this.
And the people have been recognizing it. Everything about him is just giving woman who you can't please. Everything is an issue. Yeah, that's him on a daily basis. This color isn't the right color for this wall. I don't like this handbag. It's not matching my thong. I mean, oh God, ease us up now. I can't even begin to imagine how the workers at public utilities just feel every single day having to deal with you. Like the unease has to be astronomical.
Listen to Fouad Khan, who was a former member of health under the UNC government.
My dear people, in Parliament, all mics are muted unless the person is speaking and the person is answering. Even the speaker's mic is muted unless he stands up and delivers some verbal talk. So muting a mic is a normal thing. Putting a mic on when the person is speaking, that is normal. And putting a mic off when they are not speaking is normal, or else you'll pick up a bunch of nasty side talks which will go and create confusion. So muting of mics is done for everyone.
I'm playing everything only here, you know? Okay. Listen to my MP, member Parliament for Police North St. Anne's West. Former Prime Minister, yes, former Prime Minister. It don't matter if it was 2 months or 3 months, former Prime Minister. Minister of Energy, former Minister of Energy, former Minister of National Security, or long former Minister in the Ministry of Legal Affairs and in the Office of the Prime Minister. Yes, he had the experience. He did it. So listen to him speak on that issue.
Trinidad and Tobago. An incident took place in our parliament on Friday night, of which you may be aware of by now. I am seeing, not surprisingly, attempts by the UNC government, with the full support of Kamala Persad-Bissessar, attempting to change the conversation, and we will not permit that to happen. The behavior of the leader of government business, a member for Couva South, Barry Padarat, was not only unacceptable, distasteful, but arguably illegal. I witnessed Barry Padarat go off and attempt to take photographs of a young member of parliamentary staff in what could only be an attempt to intimidate and to threaten that young member. Do not be distracted by a separate conversation, which is a conversation about mics. It is impossible and untenable for every member of parliament's microphone to be on at the same time, attempting to speak when someone has the floor. Someone is supposed to be speaking. And that is when mics come off. If there is another member who is on the floor speaking and you attempt to put on your mic, it will be turned off as it should be. And that does not only happen to UNC members of government. It also happens to the PNM opposition and even to us when we were in government, as it should. So do not be distracted by that conversation. We condemn, and I personally condemn in the strongest possible manner, any attempt by any member of parliament, and on this occasion is Barry Padarat, to threaten or intimidate parliamentary staff, public servants, or any citizen of Trinidad and Tobago. It will not be accepted. He was wrong, and there must be consequences. May God continue to bless our Trinidad and Tobago.
Listen to MP, I think MP Padarat went on to talk about war, some bacchanal. So listen.
We just spoke to Public Utilities Minister Barry Padarat. He's saying that the war is on, and we're asking that in relation to what transpired in Parliament. I know that the opposition would have indicated that criminal investigation may be launched against Mr. Padarat for his action. What's your take on how things have transpired, sir?
Barry Padarat is telling the population that the war is on. Is it a war against public servants? Is it a war against independent parliamentary staff? That's the question that needs to be asked. He is full of a lot of rhetoric and hot air. We completely reject, and we on this occasion is all civic-minded and right-thinking citizens of Trinidad and Tobago, any attacks on public servants and on parliamentary staff and on citizens of Trinidad and Tobago who are law-abiding. So the question that needs to be asked of him as he finds himself once again in hot water, and we will not let him off, is who exactly is this war on against?
Mr. Young, if I may, of course Kareem Massa made some statements that many interpreted to be racist. Your take on that, do you stand by what he says? Do you agree with what he says?
I am very clear in what the Constitution of the People's National Movement says, and one of the main tenets and pillars of our Constitution is that we are an inclusive party. I listened, I was there and heard what Kareem said, and I've watched the debate afterwards, and I guess at the end of the day, people are entitled to their opinions. Certainly for me, it is every creed and race finds an equal place.
And as an attorney, would you consider statements as such to be seditious?
No.
Mr. Young, what is your thoughts on persons?
Parliamentarians, it's not a muting of mics. Once a person has the floor, that is the person whose mic is going to be on. The speaker will stand up, the speaker's mic will be on, and everybody's mic is off. So it is whoever has the floor and command of the floor and is their turn to speak. If you listen carefully to it, you will hear any cut and thrust between Minister Sobers and myself. My mic was being turned off. That is how it is. Everybody's mic can't be turned on at the same time. So there's absolutely nothing abnormal with that. But what we have realized in the confession there is that those now in government and when they were in opposition, they're utilizing that to try and get their
boisterous, vociferous opinions onto the record when it's not their turn. All right? Thank you all very much.
I'm suggesting that it's not a good example for the young persons in society.
I think that we as parliamentarians all have to accept the responsibility that comes with being elected to office, especially the elected members of parliament. And there needs to be a careful reflection on how that is carried out. Very often, because we are an adversarial type of parliament, as the Westminster system, and very often people get carried away. But what we saw on Friday is not in that category. Parliamentarians on either side of the aisle thrusting against each other is expected. The attack on independent staff of the parliament is not, and that was a line crossed.
Okay. While all that going on, in my opinion, I say distraction by the UNC. In my opinion, in The Guardian, yesterday, Ram Logan urges government to allow exchange of all $100 notes after court ruling. And it has to do with some lady who was denied entry into Trinidad during the COVID-19 situation. Remember, back then, borders were closed. It was a pandemic. The first pandemic we had after the Spanish flu or something, so much 100 years before. So they didn't know what it was, how it is, every day it morphing. You didn't know it, no vaccine or nothing, you know. So this government started to do what it had to do, put in the going under the Health Act, I think, so Public Health Act, so that the CMO, the senior public officer who is the in charge of the whole medical sector, public sector, was in charge. And then we had all the different specialists in bacteria and all kind of thing. I never know we have all them people in Trinidad, but Dr. Trotman and Dr. Richards and who was the cutie one with the smooth skin? What his name? Dr. something he name, you know. I can't remember right now. Anyhow, them was out there, you know, keeping we informed and track, sending the information so to the CMO tell Dr. Rowley and the government, and every day the Minister of Health and Dr. Rowley and them are brazen. We 1 minute we have to wear face masks, next minute there's no crowd, next minute is this. So everything they could have done until the world come up with some vaccine, whatever, right? So one of the things was controlling the people coming in, and then when you come in, you had a step down house, you could have go there first, evaluate how much, 48 hours, whatever, and from there, if you have it, then they take it to Cora or they take it to wherever. So that a whole system, a whole parallel system in the health service was happening while the normal health service was going on. All that was going on. So this individual, I think it's a woman saying she was denied coming back. She missed the deadline to come back to change. She cut notes and whatever, $10,000. And I heard somebody say, $10,000? People was changing how much million and this and that and that. So wherever he was in the States, you can call somebody, a family, and say, hey, watch me, go under the pillow. No, not under the pillow, not as the mattress. Go under the mattress in a blue purse that have a string. When you open it, it's at $10,000. I wanted to go to the bank and change it on time for me and just put it back in my account, whatever. Do that for me. You cannot call somebody, just $10,000. So you prevent it from coming in, you take it to court, and the court say it was wrong and blah, blah, blah. So because of that now, the goodly former AG wants the government to consider letting people, I'll put it my way, all who had cut notes outside to come back and change it. Let me tell you something. They said over 5 million cut notes was never converted to polymer. We hear this and that, and we think them thing was joke under the floor and in the roof and the wall and blah, blah, blah. So I'm just asking that question, is this a move to bring back? Because I think MP Stewart only time to tell me something about that, you know, that if the UNC come back, they're going to go and think back the poly, bring back them cut notes and them and all that. And only remember why the government, Dr. Pete Christopher Rowley would have changed them thing in the first place, because of the wherever, with the money and the factor bill and wherever. And people had the time to change the thing. And people who had, remember the pastor who come and say how much $500 million or whatever he have, and he did have it home, and all kind of lily that's still under investigation. So is it going to see this government make a push for all who had a cut notes in the roof and the wall and the floor and wherever they have it in garbage bag, whether they bury it in the backyard and plant some flowers on it or some vegetables in order to dig it up? I don't know. I just say, however, they will not be walking in the bank and changing back, getting all them cut notes and them change. Because one woman who could have just simply called a family member to tell her, hey, take that 10,000, the bank will not ask no question. I hear it's only about 50,000. If you go to Ting, you have to answer this, say this, and whatever. 10,000, you could just go and change it, pay it in a bank account, whatever. She couldn't have done that. So is it all a part of the plan? I'm just asking. So let's see how that goes. So while Barry getting on and whatever, and everybody saying that mute mic is normal, and he getting on and Lily, you're seeing that there was no need for him to carry on. So is it something else? So also, all you think it's soft, it is soft, you know, it's hard. And on top of that now, I'm seeing where Mariona Brown, former Minister of Finance in the PNM, he warns against wholesale exchange of old notes. And he's saying here, this was in the Guardian, economist and former Minister in the Ministry of Finance, Mariona Brown, has cautioned against any move to allow the wholesale exchange of all $100 bank notes, saying such a decision would raise serious questions about unexplained wealth and corruption. The suggestion came from former Attorney General Anna Ramlogan after the court last Friday ordered the state to pay more than $40,000 in compensation to the estate of an elderly woman who was denied the opportunity to exchange all cotton notes for polymer notes in 2020 after she had been stranded abroad during the COVID-19 pandemic. High Court Judge Javindra Rampasad awarded the compensation after upholding a lawsuit brought by Shanti Nanan over the refusal of former Finance Minister Com Embed to grant her an extension to exchange the 10,000 in all banknotes based on her extenuating circumstances. Speaking on CNC3 Morning Brew, yesterday, Brown said he did not expect the issue to be raised during the mid-year budget review yesterday, but acknowledged the proposal could appeal to many people. It does present a possibility which will be attractive to many, he said. However, Brown argued that any discussions about reopening the exchange process must be accompanied by stronger scrutiny of the source of funds being presented for conversion. The real issue that follows from this is that the unexplained wealth bill, that's going to be critical, the critical issue. Where did you get it and how did you get it, he said. Brown noted, however, that Ramlogan's argument appeared to focus on exceptional cases, such as individuals who were unable to exchange their notes while stranded abroad during the pandemic. I think the issue, he argued, was a particular person, somebody who was deprived of an opportunity because they were abroad and COVID-19 got them stuck. No, those are exceptional circumstances, Brown said. He warned that opening the door to a broader redemption program of all notes will revive concerns that emerged during the demonetization process, particularly in cases involving large sums of cash whose origins were unclear. To open the door to a wholesale redemption of all notes also raises a whole series of questions which were never well handled in the situation where one or two persons showed up with substantial amounts of unexplained wealth. And he go on to say some other things. Oh, it's nearly finished. I could read to the end. He warned that opening right. To open the door to a wholesale right, the authorities had not adequately addressed those concerns. We have had no real action on that, he said, maintaining that any effort to combat corruption must be consistent with measures designed to prevent illicit funds from entering the financial system. It's impossible to talk about corruption on one side and then open this sort of beneficial hole and window without really dealing with those matters, Brown said. He said it remained unclear how policymakers would approach you going forward. So we wait and see, because in this country, all kind of thing, right? So we will see how, keep your eye on that. So while Barry getting on, and hyping up himself. It have all this going on. And we keep hearing, that is normal, normal thing. Normal thing that you might get mute if you're on your feet, somebody talking. You can't talk at the same time, you might have to mute. Let me continue. So the Prime Minister in the Trinidad Express says, she disclosed in the Parliament that the Trinidad and Tobago Electricity Commission maintained what she described as a protected list of individuals whose electricity supply could not be disconnected. And she had the whole list and she read out the list and all that. It reminds us of the time, or it should remind you of the time when she went into Parliament, I'll talk about that just now, and had a whole list of names saying that these people were spying on other people in this country. And she never presented or laid it in Parliament, so any serious thing could be done with it. She just took it and just called out people name all over the place, was on it. So now she called out a list of names of people on some list for Tech that they got some kind of protection or something if they can't pay the bill and all that. I just want to say this. Because I just talk to peeps and all that, you know. I understand, and I could be corrected from anybody in Tech, that's quite okay. But I understand, Tech doesn't have no policy where they say commercial industrial buildings, if they don't pay the bill, that they nothing will happen to them or they're protected or whatever the case may be. I understand that because of the kind of things that put in on these places for them to have this industrial electricity and all that is plenty thing and plenty work, plenty equipment. So if one of them owing whatever, they will get a letter from Tech to get back the money recover, and if it reach where they're paying, well then they will go to other legal areas and stuff. But there's no policy that says you're protected. When it comes to ordinary citizens, there's no policy neither that, and whether or not you is a high official or whatever. Okay, let me start with them. High officials, whether parliamentarian, this is a high official, there's no policy that say that them, if they didn't pay the bill on time, that they wouldn't be caught and they could leave them. It have no policy in that. And I'll come to tell you why. At the end of the day, it has no policy in truth. And when it comes to ordinary citizens, same damn thing. What happens in those cases is the discretion of the supervisors. Because there was a time they came to cut my lights simply because me clean forget to pay my bill. Because I just forget it every 2 months and whatever. When I see they come, I was like, oh Lord, what happened? You didn't pay bill. I was like, what? I didn't pay my bill? Hey! They said, no, you didn't pay it. I said, oh my God. They said, we come to cut. I said, oh. I said, here we're going on. I get confused. I said, all the money I'm in now, but in the morning I go in and pay that bill. Or they could let me pay. They say, here we're going on. Get down there early in the morning, and then by 9 o'clock, because we come back in the area. So by 9 o'clock, we look on the system and we see here pay, we come into cut. I said, I will be there. I was the first person in line down in front of Ting the morning. As the door opened, I pay my damn bill and I come back and I say, thank you, Father. So, based on the discretion, it's not a blind, but the understanding. Even you're going to Ting and say, oh God, listen, my bill is over thing wherever. I don't have the money, no, but here we're going on. I will get our money by Friday. Today is Tuesday. By Friday, I'm going to get the money. So, oh God, please only give me according to the discretion, that I say, okay, make sure you come Friday. But if you don't come Friday, it's on the system, it's right up. We ain't going to know when the people come in to cut it, so try and make it. So just make those arrangements because there's not animals, you know, people just forget. They know that people have circumstances and things that happen. So this conversation they having, but who on the list and things like, listen. Then somebody was telling me, I see the poor Miss Sharon Rowley thing name on the list or whatever. They said she said, come and stand up normally lying and pay she bill and thing, you know. I myself see she stand up in a line down with small pay and she phone bill. And it's when I look and I said, what? Hey, Daddy Prime Minister wife? I said, Gabby she. I said, no, that's a she. I said, it's Daddy Prime Minister wife. They say, yes. And then people say, oh God, Miss Love. And she's so quiet and nice there and thing. They try to come to pull her. She said no. And she waits, she turned everything. Real long-term people. So now Dr. Rowley had to come out, as usual, and defend himself. But he accustomed doing because PNM don't come out and defend here at all. the leadership of this PNM, they don't defend he at all, and nothing. He had to defend himself. So this is what he said. He said, I am unaware of being on any list at TNTech. I pay all my electricity bills, and as when they become due at properties in Trinidad and Tobago. That holds good for my wife as well. I have never requested nor was offered any protection from TNTech billing operation. For all those who think we have a prime minister looking after the serious business of managing the country's affairs, I have already advised you that what we have is a hateful dictatorial jamet. Let me read that again. I have also advised that what we have is a hateful dictatorial jamet who wishes to be fair, like her mentor. And he went further than that, because that's how we do things. You come into receipt, he furnished one of his light bill. And when I perused the light bill, there's no arrears, but it's up to date to go to be paid. So if they're saying he's on a special list and whatever he's supposed to show he has thousands of dollars in arrears and this and that, the man bill is up to date. Okay? Let me continue. On top of that now, she put in pause Keith Scotland. Now he named not on no list, but some bacchanal with some. Let me explain this thing to all your papa. I don't want to say what he didn't say.
The Honorable Prime Minister in the parliamentary chamber, under the shield of parliamentary privilege, made some very egregious attacks on my professional character. I have looked in the short space of time that I have reviewed the allegations, and it revolves around a TNTech matter, and I say three things categorically. At no time will you see one document come in under the hand of Keith Scotland that anything was filed that was not filed. Secondly, the action is not statute barred because in 2024, the claim on behalf of TNTech was refiled, and we have a stamped request for entry of judgment in default of appearance. They have taken back their files, but whatever happened after that is no concern of ours. And in those circumstances, I invite the Prime Minister to make these claims outside of the Parliament. We have done the claim, we did the entry for judgment in default of appearance on flavor right, and to presume or to make an allegation that because Montai is some PNM member, that there was some collusion to suppress a TNTech matter is a serious allegation. And I call upon her to make those allegations outside of the Parliament. I understand that something may have happened with her favorite blue-eyed boy in Parliament, and it may be that they may want to say that I was involved, and they think that they can come, but they cannot come at me, certainly not with this matter, because I have all my documentations. And also, one would recall, in late 2024, up to 2025, the elections, I was not in practice. I gave up my briefs because I was a member of the cabinet of Trinidad and Tobago. And I have the documentations in my hand, where not only was the claim refiled, but a judgment in default of appearance was made, supporting with all the documents. And we even have a query from the registrar querying some of the issues that were raised in the judgment. And that was not told to the public, and I want to set the record straight. What we will not do is I will not be silenced. I will rile against any injustice, be it against parliamentary staff, be it against people of Trinidad and Tobago, and they will not silence my voice with attacks on my character, with attacks on me, and by extension, my family. I'm not taking that. And that is my response.
Just quickly, just to be clear, was there a default judgment against Flavorite?
We have at present in the court a request for entry of judgment in default, and there's a query from the registrar relative to that request.
Was that filed in time? On time, or was it out of time?
In time, remembering that 2 years were suspended for filings due to COVID. That seems to have the delimitation point. That seems to have escaped the Prime Minister, the Honorable Prime Minister and her cohorts. It did not escape me. It did not escape the persons who would have filed the documents. And I repeat, there is no correspondence anywhere. And I ask anyone whoever to bring it where I would have said I did something that was not done.
Saying you was going to say something. Sure. To the best of your knowledge, when you were no longer involved in the matter, everything that was supposed to have been done was done?
To the best of my knowledge, when it is that there was an issue with the first claim that was filed, that was corrected, and the claim was refiled in time because it's an ongoing debt for the amount that was owed to TNTech, and when there was no appearance, a judgment in default of appearance application was made in the refiled matter. I made sure that I have my documents. Of course, there are client privileges issues that attend. I will make sure that I make contact with TNTech. This is not the first time. I understand they need to come after me, But I will stand firm, and my record of service will stand firm.
Do you plan, or any other member of the opposition, plan to use any of these standing orders to give a response in the Parliament? Is that allowed?
I have not interrogated that fully as yet. I suspect that after the Honourable Prime Minister made her speech, I would have had a window of opportunity. But at the time, because we had no notice of it, I did not have the proper documentation, and I did not want to speak without having the proper documentation. I got it shortly after, but it was not within the window that was allotted to me to respond.
And any comments on the whole secret list? Any member wish to respond to that?
I know nothing about any secret list. It is something that comes as a surprise to me, and that's all I would say. I noticed my name was not on it, but my name featured very prominently in this statement made by the Honourable Prime Minister, and as prominent as it was made, I will defend it with the prominence that it deserves.
Thank you. MP Scotland?
Yes.
Is it possible?
Right, and what that's about? Prime Minister, TNTech to take legal action against Keith Scotland for fraud. The 15th of June 2026. Prime Minister Kamala Persad has ordered legal action against Member of Parliament for Port-au-Prince South, Keith Scotland, accusing his chamber of fraudulent misrepresentation of TNTech. In a favorable discourse, the Prime Minister exposed a web of protection for a high-profile claiming state funds were deliberately compromised. Speaking in the House of Representatives, Prime Minister Kamala Persad revealed a manufacturing company racked up over $2.3 million in unpaid electricity arrears over a 5-year period between 2017 and 2022. Opposition MP Keith Scotland Law Chambers was contacted by Trinidad and Tobago Electricity Commission to represent the state entity in a legal claim against the manufacturing company to recover the outstanding sum. However, she claims the company owner is a PNM financer, and Mr. Scotland did not do everything in his power to ensure the money was recovered, including filing key legal documents. As a result, it announced that the state is striking back, calling for immediate accountability from Mr. Scotland's chambers for fraudulent misrepresentation, professional negligence, and breach of contract. I've also directed that consideration to be given to a formal complaint to the Disciplinary Committee of the Law Association for breach of the Code of Conduct pursuant to Legal Professional Act. The Prime Minister further alleged that the evidence crossed the threshold into potential criminal conduct. I have also directed that this matter be reported to Trinidad and Tobago Police Service Fraud Squad, and also the ACIB, the Anti-Corruption Bureau, for investigation and to determine whether criminal charges should be laid for conspiracy to defraud TNTech, misfeasance and or something, so it named misfeasance or whatever, and corruption. Malfeasance, no, she said miss, I thought it was mal. Okay, it's a miss, M-I-S, so it's not me. This is not a facade moment, malfeasance or misfeasance and corruption. Ms. Kamala Persad has also read into the parliamentary a list of high-ranking officials who she claimed were placed on TNTech elite secret protected list to ensure they were shielded from electricity disconnection despite any non-payment. I just want to ask a question. I don't know asking a question. I'm asking a question. I want to know if the Honorable AG at one time would have had some meter or something burn out down where he lived and theater come and had to disconnect because no one's anything burn out, so whatever. Them ain't taking no chance to prevent you burning down your own house or the house burning down and other people's burning down, they just come and take off the light. Click, click, click. So you'll be in darkness. I want to ask the Honorable Attorney General whether or not some leniency was applied to him so that he didn't have to stay in darkness, that they were able to put back on the lights the same night. I'm just asking a question when it was told that, hey, listen, it's the AG, you know, you can't. I want to ask him questions. Was he a recipient of that type of leniency? I'm just asking. But the Honorable Prime Minister would have spoken about laying it, talking about one protective list, and she have a list and names and all that. Let me bring back this to all remember these times.
Show your proof. Minister of National Security Fitzgerald Hines is challenging Leader of the Opposition, Kamla Persad-Bissessar, regarding her statements on the government's procurement of the Pegasus spyware solution, a statement which has also been denied by Prime Minister Dr. Keith Rowley. More in this report.
Bring the best evidence you have. I support the fact she has none.
At a press conference held on Sunday, the National Security Minister said that statements regarding the state's procurement of Pegasus spyware by the opposition leader were reckless and can affect relationships between this country's security agencies and international agencies. He stated categorically that Trinidad and Tobago security agencies do not possess the Pegasus spyware.
We say we have a clear policy on these matters. It is the SSA. They are very clear. They must operate within the confines of the laws of Trinidad and Tobago. And as far as I'm aware, that has been happening. And therefore, the comments by the Leader of the Opposition, as has been made clear by the Honorable Prime Minister in his impeccably laid out statement last Friday in the Parliament, and quite correctly so, those comments by her are to be flatly rejected.
Acting Commissioner of Police MacDonald Jacob explained that the former Commissioner of Police purchased some software which came in two parts, which was not on the level of Pegasus.
On the 10th of September last year, the other, what we call the bark pack, that is linked with the server, was in fact handed over to the SSA. So what was in the possession of the Trinidad and Tobago Police Service was handed over to the SSA. Therefore, the police service right now, we don't have possession of, even though that artificial spy software has been spoken about in our possession.
The acting top cop confirmed that the software has not been in use since significant training needs to be conducted in order for the software to be utilized. During a sitting of Parliament on Friday, Prime Minister Dr. Keith Rowley denied the procurement of Pegasus spyware by the state or any other of this country's security intelligence agencies.
Okay, so remember that. So the Honorable Prime Minister in the article I read where she's going to send this and that to different areas to treat it, MP Scotland, she said, as a result, the Prime Minister announced that the state is striking back, calling for immediate accountability from Mr. Scotland Chambers for fraudulent misrepresentation, professional negligence, and breach of contract. I've also directed that consideration be given to a formal complaint to the disciplinary committee of the Law Association for breach of code of conduct pursuant to the Legal Professional Act, right? Those are the things. And she directed it also to the Police Fraud Squad and to the ACIB, the Anti-Corruption Bureau, everybody she sending thing to, right? So I just want to ask this question because me, I not no big political nothing. This was a story in the Daily Express, July the 11th, 2022. It's a Denise Wren story. Many roles of ex-AG under scrutiny. I'm just going to read a little area here. The role of former Attorney General John Jeremy has been under scrutiny in a number of high-profile criminal matters before the court in the past and one at present. This scrutiny came to the forefront again last month, following a Privy Council ruling delivered by 5 law lords who squashed the PIACO one criminal case involving former government ministers, contractors, and political financiers on the grounds of bias. In all, there are 4 PIACO cases involving the same accused with varying charges. Businessman John Henry Smith, now deceased, and Barbara Gomes, has sued former Chief Magistrate deceased Sherman Nichols, the Office of the AG, and the Office of the DPP citing bias. It was on their application that PC ruled, stating that McNichols had been hopelessly compromised via assistance from Jeremy to get a Clico company to repurchase McNichols' land. In their analysis, the law lords linked the conviction to then Prime Minister Basil Pandey by McNichols and moved to impeach former Chief Justice Sat Sharma amidst allegations made by McNichols and the role of facilitator by Jeremy. Jeremy ruled to impeach Sharma, and the attempt by McNichols to resell the land he had purchased from Home Construction Limited and Millennium Park was highlighted by information disclosed at the Mustill Tribunal, which was held in September 2007. And it went on and on and on. So it is ironic that the Honorable Prime Minister is going to send all those documents to those different areas on MP Keith Scotland for basically not doing, when he was hired, his chamber was hired by TNTech to recover monies from a client that apparently is alleging that because the client is some financer, the PNM, apparently that Scotland, that is what I'm alluding to when I read my simple understanding, didn't do due diligence so that the person didn't pay all that. Right? And she went to report into the Law Association. But her own AG, he was under scrutiny in a number of high-profile criminal matters before the court in the past and present and all that. So it's just like the Speaker of the House. The Speaker of the House make jail and he run for bail or some kind of bacchanal so bounty. You know, them kind of thing, jump bail or whatever, and then it went to the Privy Council, not because he's innocent, because I think they were talking about time served already and the character and some kind of thing and something. But the right in the face. Anyway, let me continue. So the media review. Take a listen.
The opposition is questioning government's financial management ahead of Monday's mid-year budget review. Former Minister in the Ministry of Finance and San Fernando East MP, Brian Manning, says the government is returning to Parliament seeking an additional $2.93 billion, a move he argues raises serious questions about last year's budget projections. Manning contends the administration has relied heavily on borrowing and withdrawals from the employment fund while failing to create enough economic opportunities.
From the very beginning, the TTRA was a major mistake, and this government shot itself in the foot by closing the TTRA. The TTRA would have closed a tax gap of $10 billion annually in terms of not collected taxes by this government.
Also weighing in on the matter, President of the National Nurses Association, Edie Stewart, says healthcare workers employed by the regional health authorities have gone more than a decade without salary increases and wants the finance minister to provide a clear timeline for wage adjustments.
A simple statement from the Minister of Finance indicating when healthcare workers who are employed with the regional health authorities would receive a salary increase, and also how it will be determined.
Meanwhile, the Service Station Owners Dealers Association President, Rival Chattergoon, is calling for the completion of the Frederick Settlement liquid fuels pipeline, saying it could cut fuel transport costs and reduce foreign exchange spending on marine shipments between Pointe-a-Pierre and Sealots.
We as owner dealers suffer to get a little bit of US to pay for our pay pump routers and the software that license software that we have to pay monthly.
Finance Minister Devendranath Tanku declined to comment ahead of the review, saying his position would be outlined when he delivers the mid-year budget review in Parliament on Monday. Andrea Perez-Sobas, CNC3 News.
We promised the nation that we would improve the lives of the members of the protective services. Promise made, promise kept.
Response to this.
If since April 18, 2025, teachers accepted the then government's 5% wage increase, and then Imbert later came out and said that the money for that back pay was already allocated and sitting somewhere, how is it 1 year and 2 months later under this new government and this new Minister of Finance we are now hearing that they may get it in 2027? So where did the money that was already allocated for that purpose go? Is it true? Did you already take the money and give it to the PSA? And then, just like what you all did with the nurses, you all just put all the social media people on social media to vilify and ridicule and insult the nurses and teachers when all they are asking for is what was owed to them. How could that ever be fair and right? It's not. It's neither fair nor right. Stop giggling and pay the people their money.
So, today, in the Guardian, teachers reject back pay relief delay, nurses welcome time clarity. Teachers and nurses have mixed reaction after Finance Minister Devendranath Tanku indicated that financial relief for public sector workers who are still awaiting the conclusion of salary negotiation and back pay will be provided through allocation in the 2026-27 budget. However, Trinidad and Tobago Unified Teachers Association tutor president Crystal Bevin Ashe immediately rejected that proposed timeline. Unacceptable. I can't give it in one word. Unacceptable. They, the members, will not accept that. This is ridiculous because we had an agreement. We had multiple dates. Now we are moving the goalpost every time, he said. So you would have moved it from June. You moved it to January. You moved it to the end of the first quarter. Now you move it to 2027. When will we have the next? What will we have? When will we have it next? At the end of your term in office? No. This is unacceptable. Asha said Twitter will outline its next step during a media conference today. So I didn't know they had a media conference today, right? He also dismissed any suggestion that the union would accept a settlement involving non-cash payment. And that is what this stupid girl from PSA go on and negotiate for. We never say we want no non-cash payment. We want all we blasted money in we hand, because when we work, we say get salary, we say get for we labor, we say get cash in we hand. We never say get non-cash, and we say, well, here what this month? Yeah, what going on now? Cedric, your rent to pay? Yeah, what going on? We go pay your rent for the rest of the month or the rest of the year. Don't worry yourself, we go pay. And then they send my landlord something stated, hey, we go take up payment. Oh, yeah, money, yeah, card to pay? No. We just get money and we go and do what the hell we want with we money. Right. So this was never discussed. That doesn't, where does this thing come out from? That doesn't come into play with us at all. This is impossible to bring at this point in time. We will have negotiated, and our agreement is that it's cash. We have nothing to do with no non-cash option, he said. I read it as if I feel I see it, because I'm damn mad. In contrast, Trinidad and Tobago National Nursing Association, TTRN President Edie Stewart welcomed the fact that government had finally provided clarity on the process and timeline for salary negotiation. I read it no more. All I will tell me is Edie Stewart, be careful how you don't compromise them. Careful you don't compromise the nurses who really looking up to you and really vibrant and excited, because at that time, Watson Solomon Duke had public officers marching all up Lavanty Hill. And I was wondering, them know where they going? Where the hell all them people going? But what the hell I seen here? And if I was there that day, I would have got a bull for and tell them, listen, all the people will ask themselves, what are they going up the hill for? Is there anything up there for we to go to march? Come back down. But I was not there. I hear people went all up the hill with the thousand and then he carried on south. Well, I went in south and I marched. I say, hey, We are taking our 5%, right? He said, no, comrade, we are taking that. All right, there was in the rain, or my pants started to get wet down, my foot started to get splashed up with mud, all kind of damn things. However, we are taking our 5%. We was big and we bad all day, but it wasn't true. And then the next night, my husband called me, say, hey, I thought you said no 5% of him, and we are taking our 5%. We marching. He said, well, look this sign. And I said, what are you talking about? I'm going to watch it. I was sick for the whole weekend. I was afraid to walk in town after because everybody knew I was there marching with. However, I stopped with my PSA jersey, and that was the end of that. Me ain't going to march again. So, take warning, President Stewart. Okay. The nurses come out in full and march, Okay. Don't sell them out now, Okay. So, let me continues. It continues. Me and Union are afraid them sometimes. Because when they go into the little room and ting, I don't like. I didn't say you, MSAD. Don't want to hear people say I say you say. I just talking in general because Juke used to tell me one thing so, and when he goes so, some other damn thing and coming back to tell me a set of trippiness, right? So I'm reading something here from Larry Lala SC, and it says, for the love of TNT. Like most of us have seen the videos, as a lawyer, I can't help but ponder over the expressed angst by Minister Padarat over what he perceived to be the improper taking away of his right of freedom of thought and expression when his mic was cut in the parliament. The irony of this coming from his government has cut and continued to unjustifiably cut the mic. All of Trinidad and Tobago by imposition of the 500-meter no protest zone of 50 locations throughout the country. Putting aside the other 14 locations, there can be no justification for the imposition of a 500-meter no protest zone outside our parliament, which is so wide in its impact that it effectively bars a single man or woman or child from staging a silent protest, not on the pavement, not in front of the parliament, not even in Woodford Square, or not in Woodford Square. Lawyers have fought for many years to give life to the right of citizens to the country to stand on the pavement outside the parliament, our seat of the democratic government, to express their views to those we have allowed to govern. To now have this right unceremoniously, disproportionately, and unjustifiably taken away is simply unacceptable. It boggles the mind that the unions, civic leaders, and religious leaders or religious bodies, the Law Association, and other representatives of the voiceless citizens of our country appear not to be given more attention to this issue. Them had time with we. Maybe as a lawyer, I attach more importance to the constitutional rights to the freedom of thought and expression from the average person does. Or maybe since we did not have to fight wars to endure years of collective struggle and oppression to obtain the fundamental rights that are set out in our Constitution, we do not attach much value to them. But our fundamental rights are there for a fundamental reason. They are essential to our very existence as a sovereign democratic state. Excuse me. The individual right to think about and express our views on what is best for our country and our existence and daily life in this country is as precious inside the parliament as it is outside the parliament, perhaps more so outside the parliament. Hopefully soon we'll wake up to the damage that has been done to our collective rights, and before it is too late, insist that this wrong must be corrected and that our mic not be cut. And I'm seeing another person resigned from the Media Association. Remember, we dropped 13 places down when it comes to freedom of press. Jude from Joshua Simangal. Due to what I believe to be organizational ethical failures, I have resigned as senior investigative journalist at Media and Guardian Media Limited. I wish to express my sincere gratitude to my former colleagues. It was a pleasure working with some of the best media professionals in the region, many genuinely good people. I would also like to thank the company for its belief in me and for the platform it presented to become a better journalist. The most important responsibility of investigative journalism is to hold powerful institutions and individuals accountable, regardless of political affiliation or influence. I believe the ability to do so on the investigative desk was compromised. So I resigned to protect my ethical integrity, peace of mind, and moral compass. Well, what you have to do will give you peace of mind, yes? Then back around. So I heard somewhere in the Parliament, in the Standing Finance Committee, when the Foreign Affairs and CARICOM Affairs and whatever that area talking about the money going to there, I am sure I heard MP Stuart Young speaking about some renovation for the Trinidad Embassy in New York, where one of the favorite son, Dr. Neil Passan, is there again, and he was asking about it because in 2012, under the same Dr. Neil Passan, $700,000 was allocated to upgrade the TNT embassy. And it is so portion of upgraded, and all kind of things. So let me see. Government draft estimate for 2012 show that the cost of the building, which now houses the Trinidad and Tobago Embassy in Washington, D.C., was US $11 million. So let me read this amount. So it's US 7. Look now. So it was US $11 million. The draft estimate also showed that approximately US $700,000 was allocated for refurbishing the embassy. So 11 million plus 700,000 US. The TNT ambassador to Washington, Dr. Neil Passan, was again unavailable for comment yesterday on the extensive renovation out of the embassy. The embassy is featured in the July-August issue of the US Architectural magazine Home and Design, showcasing some seemingly expensive updates to the property. You like nice thing on taxpayers' money? I just asking. Listen to this young lady.
Trinidad and Tobago, have you all heard of Dr. Neil Passan? Let me educate you. Dr. Neil Passan is the ambassador and permanent representative of Trinidad and Tobago to the United Nations in New York. So Dr. Neil Passan is the ambassador and permanent representative of Trinidad and Tobago to the United Nations in New York. Recently, Dr. Neil Passan's name was mentioned in Parliament due to 13 million of Trinidad dollars being allocated to refurbish housing for him. Just him. One him. Okay? While public servants cannot be issued their back pay yet. Why is it that 13 million is being sent to the United States to refurbish housing for a man that is the ambassador and permanent representative of Trinidad and Tobago? 13 million. Yet, they are telling us that Trinidad does not have money. But you could send 13 million to the United States to refurbish housing for this gentleman. It shows that the government priorities is mixed up. It shows that we the people of Trinidad and Tobago don't deserve nothing good. It shows that it's only lies upon lies and promises upon promises and excuses upon excuses. Yet money is being allocated from this country to the United States to refurbish housing for one man. How? How could this be fair? How could this be reasonable? How could this be or Madam Prime Minister representing the people of this country. How could this be logical? Yet we, the people of Trinidad and Tobago, keep fighting against each other and keep uproaring ourselves in race baiting. But money is being sent out willy-nilly all over the place. And public servants who are working under terrible conditions daily cannot get the back pay that they deserve. It is not right. We are no longer slaves. We are free. We are free and we deserve better, Madam Prime Minister. Let us understand why is it being said that this gentleman is receiving 13 million. It is alleged he's being received this money. But public servants cannot get the money. The roads in Trinidad and Tobago is holy. Corporations cannot receive their money on time because of race. That is not right. We need to stop this race game and understand that you, Madam Prime Minister, is the Prime Minister for the whole country. Not for peace of the country or not who vote who in. Because if it wasn't for everybody coming together and voting you all in, you all would not have been in power. Madam Prime Minister, show some concern and show some heart and let the people understand why is it 13 million is being allocated. Yet we, yet people, yet public servants cannot get the money. Why is it? That is just my question. Why is it?
Young lady, you asked a very valid question. And while all that going on too, listen to the concern that Stuart Richard, young member of Parliament, Police no sentence West has. Valid concern too.
Some news came to us over the weekend that we're very concerned about, and this is going to affect the domestic fuel supply in Trinidad and Tobago and puts it in direct jeopardy. There is a company called Paria Fuel Trading Company Limited, which is a state-owned petroleum logistics and trading firm that was established in 2018. It is, Mr. Speaker, the sole supplier of refined petroleum products to the local market and also a major distributor across the Caribbean region. The question we have today for the government is, have they signed a deal with Trafigura for the sale of Paria or Paria's assets, which are the pipelines and the tank farm that are there? If that happens, Trinidad and Tobago, and a government loses control of the assets in Paria, that will be a disaster for Trinidad and Tobago. And we are being told that such a deal has either been signed or is in the process of being signed. That will destroy our energy security and our domestic fuel supply security completely. So that is the question there. The last point I make in my final few moments.
Right? Very concerned. But this lady here, Anita Haynes, she said, we warned you. Former UNCMP Anita Haynes Allen has issued a strong condemnation of the government and her former party, warning that Trinidad and Tobago is being governed by absent leadership supported by sycophantic underlings. Yeah? That's what she said. They say they warn you. Before you was a member of parliament, warn we. Me and Militant Show used to warn you, and other activists, people who are their life used to warn all you. This is what all they will get if all they vote the UNC. We warn you. Well, people was all up in their feelings. They was up in their feelings. Look at the government you all put back in office. Just look at them. Look and listen in fact to the government all they put back. Listen.
Between 2015 and 2025, I watched how my supporters, our supporters, they were excluded. They were abused. They were kicked by some on the other side. I saw it and I felt your pain because it was my pain. And I want you to know, I want those persons who were oppressed, my UNC faithful to understand. Today I am a different human being. This is not Kamala 2015. This is Kamala 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30 and beyond. I really think, some people do not understand how different I am now. I'm not going to advantage anyone, but I will square up the account because the bad treatment of good people cannot go unanswered. The bad treatment that you got over those years, we will answer them. I have nothing to lose. Why? Because we lost everything before. What? Resilience and rebuild. Thank you, Lord. Thank all of you. So those who want peace, I tell you today, those who want peace will get peace. And those who want war will get total political war. Total political war.
That is who all they went and put back. You know this? But you're talking about what is perceived was done to UNC people, the 10 years Dr. Keith Christopher Rowley was in office. I didn't see it, I don't know what they're talking about. But what I saw when they were in office 2010 to 15, opposition leader Dr. Keith Christopher Rowley was officially suspended from Trinidad and Tobago House of Representatives for the remainder of the parliamentary session in May 2015. The suspension was a result of a censure motion passed by the government regarding his role in the unsubstantiated email scandal. The cause, then Minister Housing Dr. Luna Mulan moved a censure motion against Rowley for reading 31 unsubstantiated emails in Parliament in 2013, which falsely, that is what they say, accused government officials of criminal misconduct. Rowley refused to apologize. On May 6, 2015, the House voted to censor and suspend Rowley with 24 votes for and 1 against. The suspension restricted Rowley from participating in House sittings, temporarily leaving his Diego Martin West constituents unrepresented during parliamentary debates. Rowley was also sent to the Privileges Committee. The original motion, full text, well, this is the way to get it. And somebody wrote, and them times that he was suspended from the House, they wasn't paying him money under Kamala Prasad's Tessa government. All they went and voted back that woman. Hear what she say? She come for vengeance for the backside. Suspension a dark day in Parliament. The government had acted wrongly and as judge in its own court with the suspension of opposition leader Dr. Keith Rowley from Parliament, said Clarence Archibald, chairman of the People's National Movement, Shoguna's West Office. In a statement to the media on Friday, Archibald said, the action by government last Wednesday to use its majority in the House to suspend Rowley should be condemned by civil society. Yeah? All them things they do Dr. Rowley, and then they come out and say, keep your trail away from Rowley. They bring that dirty, stinking, dirty woman from Tobago. I think she stink and dirty for what she do. Vanilla Allen Toppin. And stood in the parliament, they dressed and decorated in a big yellow. And say that Dr. Rowley father rape his mother and he born a child a rape and he turn and he rape a child and that woman come and have a child and what kind of thing. Lies and more lies. And the PNM Women's League under Miss Camille Robinson Regis stood up in defense of the political leader And the opposition leader, Dr. Christopher Rowley, and they reach out to whoever and whatever, and get the proper information and get the woman to make a thing. But they had it waiting, and then they drop it, and people say, oh God, that woman could lie. Because the woman in the video say, them things didn't happen. And they even try to pay my family to say that Keith do me this and Keith do me that. So we know the kind of people that them is. Only remember Dan Sook. Only remember Dan Sook, Dan Raj, that name, who accused Franklin Khan and Eric Williams of bribe. He had to pay them bribe money. And these two men had to resign their whole character and everything put out there. And they had to go and clear the name. And then Dansu come back and say they didn't do him nothing. And they didn't bribe him. And he had to pay. Nobody remember that? And who named that calling in the background? I just asked a question. So I just reading a little piece of something I see here. Dansan Dansuk, former councillor for both the People's National Movement and United National Congress, appeared in court yesterday on 7 charges of attempting to prevent the course of public justice. Dansuk of Water Road, Rio Claro, is alleged to have diverse days between 30th April 2005 and November the 1st, 2007, attempted to perverse the course of justice in that he, on May 1st, 2005, falsely gave a statement alleging that he paid former Energy Minister Eric Williams $75,000 as a reward for a contract he received, and that on October the 31st, 2007, gave false evidence against Williams at the Port of Spain Magistrate. He paid Williams $10,000 in cash as a reward for contract he received. Senior Magistrate Annette Mackenzie, after reading all the charges, adjourned the matter for the next Tuesday to regularize Dansuk bail. Mackenzie told Dansuk attorney Vince Charles, who is instructing Wayne Sturge, that she found. Mackenzie told Dansuk attorney Wayne Sturge. Mackenzie told Dansuk attorney Vince Charles, who is instructing Wayne Sturge, that she found that the bail bond defective. Mackenzie said the bail bond in the sum of 70,000 TT does not reflect it covers all 13 charges Dansuk facing. The other 6 charges are being heard before Deputy Chief Magistrate Mark Wellington and San Fernando Magistrate Court. Charles said Dansuk was granted bail in Rio Claro Magistrate Court when he appeared on April 12 on all 13 charges. The matter was adjourned and divided between the Port of Spain jurisdiction, where he allegedly have given false evidence against Williams, and the San Fernando district, where he allegedly have given false evidence against former Minister of Works Franklin Khan. Charles added that it would not have been the bail bond, which Mackenzie had said scratches all over them. In response, Mackenzie said the bail needed to be regularized, and after a brief discussion with Charles, the court prosecutor, Corporal Harry Lal Maharaj, it was agreed the matter should be adjourned on July the 23rd, so that Dansuk bail, also identified as Mr. Tinto, will appear before him, blah, 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 blah. But remember that? Who named it calling up all up inside that too? Me, I know if it's written true, but remember this thing, that is who we have in office. Them as the peoples we have in office. Listen to this. Listen to this, people. These things is what they say, me then say, so you know, listen to this.
About the 1% which owns Keith Christopher Rowley. They tried to own Mr. Martina. They couldn't do that. They didn't get away with that. They tried their luck. I'm coming, Louise. They tried to own me, but I sent them packing. They have their Oreo now, who is their guy, and Keith Christopher Rowley. And that's how the 1% friends and family of Rowley control him. Listen to this story. When I was Prime Minister...
Right? That what you said? Dr. Rowley's an Oreo because the 1% have the Oreo now. Racist to its core, just the same way what she say about Madam Cumming Robinson Regis are coming to that. But you know, she said about the Syrian Lebanese community, who do just say the 1%. But when she had the revitalization project, wherever, who she then hugging up in the pity in the diplomatic center? Not the same 1% she talking ill about, and who it is went and serenade the Lebanese community and say that we must take pattern from them. So if they're doing all this wrong, how you could tell we should take example from them how they start? I just playing only a little piece because they will send conflicting messages. Watch this.
A ceremonial dance steeped in Middle Eastern tradition. But apart from their rich and diverse culture and heritage, Prime Minister Kamla Persad-Bissessar says the Syrian Lebanese community have brought from their homelands values this country should emulate.
If every citizen of Trinidad and Tobago were to follow your example, we would have a greater, better, more improved, thriving TNT.
The Prime Minister and her cabinet recognized the contribution of the Syrian Lebanese community on Thursday. She said the story of their success and struggle of their ancestors should serve as an inspiration to this country.
The businesses you have built now stand among the largest and most profitable in our region. Your contributions to medicine, to
I put back myself on the screen only hear what she said. But today, the attorney, when I said today, not literally today, and the Attorney General sending all kind of thing that Gary Aboud had to come out and talk against it. It's not the same Syrian people who should have serenaded and saying we must follow the example. So if all is saying the people in crime, then why you tell them we must follow them and be in crime? I don't get it. If you say they're so industrious and that they work so hard and they build up communities and everything is there for them, then how they could come back and listen to Gary Aboud? Listen, how he can have this man, come now man, come, listen to Mr. Aboud.
Everyone is trembling. Everyone is shivering. And many people are considering drastic changes in their lives and the planning of their future.
Social activist Gary Aboud says the Syrian Lebanese community is on edge following statements and assertions made by the Attorney General in the Parliament, broad-brushing so-called 1%ers as white-collar gangs and warning them that they could soon find themselves detained in Tehran alongside the 6, 7 and 8.
Would you want your child to come home to live in a country where the Attorney General are calling your children criminals of gang leaders? Would you want that for your child? No one wants to bring their child into a den where there are lions trying to bite at you and to attack you. No one wants that. We want safety for our future. So certainly everyone is making changes in their personal planning because the UNC are engineering the evacuation of an entire community, and it will happen overnight unless Kamala learns to understand the critical importance of love and unity.
Aboud believes it is high time we all confront the issues of race and bias that plague our nation.
It's time to confront all the biases that we have, racial, ethnic, and religious biases, because we will not progress unless we can stand firmly, red, white, and black, all our people united as one. Then we can see progress, then we can find our way.
Aboud says he knows at least 5 other people who have had their visas revoked, and he adds, as was the case with him, it was not due to criminal activity, as is being insinuated by the Attorney General, but rather for expressing certain views publicly. As it relates to the other claims, Aboud is calling on the Attorney General to produce the evidence.
I stand firmly in support of, and I urge the police service and the protective services to investigate and prosecute all blue-collar and all white-collar criminals and all gang members of every racial community, bar none, including my own. I've always lived an open life. I have nothing to hide. If there's some information that the Attorney General has, I strongly advise him to send it to the police service and have them do their job.
Renessa Cutting, TV6 News.
I want to play back a little piece. Which was last year, the Prime Minister was serenading the quote-unquote 1% after saying Dr. Rowley's are Oreo and the 1% have the Oreo now. But I never see Dr. Keith Christopher Rowley serenade when he was Prime Minister, the Syrian Lebanese community at the Diplomatic Center. I am casting no aspersion on the Syrian Lebanese community. I'm speaking about what I see now. So I don't understand that, because now all you're going after white collar crime and all you're implicating wherever alleged 1% and all kind of talk. But just last year, this is what he was saying. I want to play back again a little piece.
A ceremonial dance steeped in Middle Eastern tradition. But apart from their rich and diverse culture and heritage, Prime Minister Kamla Persad-Bissessar says the Syrian Lebanese community have brought from their homelands values this country should emulate.
If every citizen of Trinidad and Tobago were to follow your example, we would have a greater, better, more improved, thriving TNT.
The Prime Minister and her cabinet recognized the contribution of the Syrian Lebanese community on Thursday. She said the story of their success and struggle of their ancestors should serve as an inspiration to this country.
The businesses you have built now stand among the largest and most profitable in our region. Your contributions to medicine, to law, to social work, to community development, these also have been and continue to be very significant.
The community can celebrate a number of achievements today because of the sacrifices made by their ancestors decades ago.
Sharam in Horn, or Sharam in Horn, Bianil.
My apologies, it wasn't last year, it's 2012. She was serenading the Lebanese Syrian community, telling us to emulate them, right? And now today, you're throwing them under the bus. Me, I don't understand, Papa. Anyway, this is who we have as our Prime Minister. Don't ever forget, these things is real things.
This lady went on a platform last week and 3 or 4 times, Kamla Sushila Persad-Bissessar. Isn't that a beautiful name? Yeah. What problem you have with my name? What's wrong with my name? Yeah, Camille. At least I have a name for my ancestors. Where you got yours from? Your name is that of a slave master.
Last time I checked, this country is a cosmopolitan country, all races together. We'll have little issues amongst ourselves, but by and large, we live very peacefully, working out the issues as we go along. And when you look at African people and our history of chattel slavery, that wasn't the beginning of us. We were before that. However, that would have happened and it would have impacted on us in different ways. And yes, we have a slave master named Mr. Charles, Joseph Charles Butler Works. He had a proud Indian name, Mahmudin Suraj, I think it was. And he couldn't get the juice and things sell. When he write to England, he wanted to get some patent, whatever. He couldn't knock with that name. And he saw a name on a bottle or something, whatever. And he changed the name to Joseph Charles and whoop, he was in business. He never changed it back. So what wrong with the slave master name? Because he take a slave master name to make business and none of his family never change it back to the proud Indian surname. And I'm glad they didn't, because I used to enjoy my red solo and roti and all kind of back. And all of we grew up and we red solo and with this banana solo in them thick bottle and you know the kind of thing. So again, I say this is a cosmopolitan country. But I don't know. I want to just always this J-Tam to make some, I don't even want to hear them, direct. I'm even playing that. Them on games. We ain't playing that. We go wait to hear the announcement. We ain't playing that. Before I end here, I just want to say something quick. I go in and deal with a situation because you know me, I wasn't really afraid to deal with no situation because I don't talk with water in my mouth and I don't talk on two sides of my mouth. Why I say, I could stand back up and say, I say. So I on this chat with some PNM people. And my comments will be just the way I will have my conversation here. I will say the political, well, I doesn't need too much of a still only political leader, the leader Trinidad and Tobago. And I say she politically weak. So I write my little pieces and that and whatever on the chat and whatever. I talking it straight, mean insulting nobody, whatever the case may be. But apparently the truth hurting some people and they don't want to admit the truth because they hold on that side probably for what they could get, however. All I want is a good PNM to stand up, fight back, come back like after 33-3 and after when we did have 12 seats to stand up in defense of the citizens of Trinidad and Tobago and have the policies that the PNM have implemented over the years. That is what I want. That is what I want. That is what I want. So when I put up my thing, it's not because I want no contract and because I don't want nothing like them thing. I want the PNM to come back strong. And I'm seeing under this leadership, it ain't had nothing there. If it wasn't for people like Stuart Young, Brian Manning, Miss Camille Robinson Regis, Keith Scotland and others, the PNM ain't had nothing. In the debate in the Standing Finance Committee, me here, she's the leader. Me here, she talk and say nothing. The opposition leader trying to big up LMP Beckers. Me here, she talk and say nothing. You're supposed to be leading the debate. You ain't can't leave it just to your leader. We ain't hear nothing. At least I didn't hear nothing. And it goes on and on. They abandon red apparently and like they in white. I don't know if somebody tell them to wear white that will make them win something. I don't know. But white means surrender. Anyhow, so I did a video back in one of my live back in about during the last local government election when we were there jamming and fighting. I doing my labor thing too and I doing my political thing. And all them people writing comments and it's Indian surname they have. I don't know if it's really Indian people. But Indian comments and they're talking about Dr. Rowley, wicked, he bad, he's a dictator. They say him pity with the hair on top feces. They say he's monkey, we ugly. You know what monkey I get called? No dunce, I get called. No dotish, I get called. No PNM dunce, I get called. Fighting battle for this PNM. Eh? Under Dr. Keith Rowley, nobody didn't ask me what I was doing it again because I understand the importance of a PNM. So they're putting up on it, they're suffering, and they're suffering, Dr. Rowley, and suffering, and me, Mr. Waiting Classic Production, you're posting it. It's me, Jennifer Frederick, I say, and I could say it again because somebody clip a little piece of this whole live where I seen and I was up in it. I don't know how I just get on when I talking. And I say every blasted day they're talking about Dr. Rowley's a dictator, he's a tyrant, he's a this. I said, they're suffering and they're suffering. I said, why did I go back in there? Because before I had said, the people who write in the comments on my page is people with Indian surname. I don't know if there's Indian. I say, if it's so hard and bad here, why are they staying in a place where it's so bad and hard? Why are they go back in there? And the person who they do the tape on here, I say, go back in there, go back in there, go back in there. And then when they finish, go back in there, things so hard. And then they put some AI voice saying I have a meltdown, whatever the case may be. So I want to tell you, it's a classic production. You could post it, you could send it to BBC, you could send that video to CNN, you could send that video to Vanity Fair, you could send it to New York Times, you could send it even to UNC, you could send it where you want to send it. Keep posting it over as if that will do me something. Because you see, when people talk the truth, all they just want to come out, Mr. Classic Production. Keep posting it over as if that is something. And I could say it over and over again because me don't talk with water in my mouth. And me not afraid to say what I say because when I say what I say, it coming from a strong foundation, a solid foundation. And as I say again, I will always say it over because it's a context in which I speak in. I must always say at the end of the day, we have to work together, always says, to build back this country. And it has some people that don't want that. But me, I love myself as an African woman. So I could stand up, shoulder to shoulder with an Indian man or Indian woman, Chinese man, Chinese woman, Syrian, whatever, and be proud and black while still loving my brother and sister from another ethnic group. I just always say that. So they can come around with no stupidness. I'm saying it again. During them time, they were saying they're suffering. And it's people with Indian surname. And it's so hard. And I tell them, yes, If it hard and bad, why all stay in here, go back in there, but all them kids go back in there. Because all let's get on here. Someone let's get on here. Or they can get on in there because it's a hard. Me say it with my full chest. So classic production, you and whoever, or they could keep posting it over in the PNM chat as if they're doing me something. Or they're so small-minded, or they're missing the bigger picture with the political leader weak, the opposition leader weak, PNM looking weak. And if it wasn't for a few members, names are called. Oh God, this would have had nothing. But they're studying that part. Or they study me with white talk. Look all the rock so I hear the political leader playing rock so now she playing Girl on Fire again. She playing rock so. They're all the better rock so with all their stupidness. So this is Member of Parliament Stuart Richard Young. He was invited to speak today. He was privileged to deliver feature address at the graduating class of 2026 of Sacred Heart Boys RC. This morning, our young citizens are the future of Trinidad and Tobago, and the team was far from over. Hashtag our future, far from over, hashtag honesty, hashtag integrity, hashtag Stuart R. Young. And just, we've got some pictures, I'll just put them together.
Don't forget your name. Remember his Caribbean blood down in your veins. Remember your sunshine now when you meet the rain. We do it a billion times, we go do it again. Stand firm and never let your heart be troubled. Trouble come and go like the tides. What can they ever do to stop our people? With the blood of kings and queens for royal side, we so full of pride. Love to see you smiling. Don't give up, keep fighting. We're full of our pride. Your light is so blinding. Love to see you shining. Light it up like lightning.
So people, that was just a little glimpse there, and Member of Parliament of Port of Spain North St. Andrews being invited to speak at Sacred Heart Boys RC School graduation today, 2026. People, I hope you enjoyed the show. I see that probably there was some kind of issue on, well, I watched on my tablet, like it was breaking down and whatever. So all who there, Katya and everybody, Bolty, everybody, Kim, thank you all so much for always staying locked on, tuning. I know it's more than you all there, but thank you all so much. And those who are on YouTube, Bounce Up channel, thank you all for the support as usual. There's a saying, careful what you wish for. I know who they say they're suffering things hard. Dr. Oli is a dictator, Dr. Oli wicked, Dr. Oli evil. Stuart Young is a Chinese. He can run the party. Dr. Oli just put him there. And Stuart Young this and Dr. Rowley this and Stuart Young this and Dr. Rowley. The country had is suffering. Careful what you wish for, because now the UNC come in office. You hear the Prime Minister say she come, this is Kamala 2 point whatever, 02, whatever the thing. She ain't not the same Kamala against her. Things ain't nice. Because all we see suffering is people who look like me and some who don't even look like me. Careful what you wish for. All they call sufferation, probably the gods given all the way I want. All they want, sufferation, I don't know. But careful what you wish for. Thank you all so much. Always stay locked on, tune in. And again, I call it in a classic production again. Take the video and send it all over the world. Let it go viral. Only missing the bigger picture. I is not a government minister. I is not a MP. I is not a councillor. I is not an executive member. I the PNM ever do study why saying study what a political leader and opposition leader doing. And if she could take this PNM into victory 2030. And if all they say yes, well, why go tell all you? It's a tongue thing called delusion, you know. I love you all, people. See you all on Friday. Was when I come with something fresh, something new. This is Girl Jen, Sister Jenny, Auntie Jenny. And if you want to get formulas, Miss Jennifer Frederick, another edition of We Talk the Ting Unfiltered. I go on. Love all your bad, everybody. At the end of the day, love. Love. Well, they get up with that word love. That word love is a powerful word, you know. Loving mean that you're weak, you know. Loving mean that you give up and surrender in white, you know. Don't get tired up, you know. But when you have on white, that means surrender. Yeah, go. And I don't know if PNM surrender. They move from red to white now. Oh, they go to yes, I go on, I go on.
Not land. The old people used to say, if your eye too long, trouble will befall you. Trouble befall you. And when you're living in good house, sometimes just a bad house just come and call you. Call you. It's not to say you must settle for the mediocre, or you must take a lash from man whether drunk or sober. But sometimes women leave them man say they're going for better, and in you and they embrace to know to be a monster. Careful what you ask for, careful what you wish for. Better keep your bird in hand and pursue your heart's desire, or you will eat from the frying pan straight into the fire. Careful what you cry for, oh, what you prepare to die for. They say better the devil that you had than the one you do not know. Before you end up on the floor, squash up like a mosquito. Careful what you ask for, oh, careful what you wish for. So why you upset? You're afraid. Hey, let's take what you can. Whoa, whoa. You in the news the other day, but I was watching the young and restless, so young and restless. This tiny little Indian girl leaves the child father who she swear was worthless, idle and worthless. Moving with a younger man also from Guyana, hit she more bad than someone when she feed him chana. The same young boy that she crept out would take she further. Boy, put she baby in a grave, now she falling murder. Careful what you ask for, wish I could have won. Careful what you wish for. The same man who made she heart beat fast, so she called she baby girl. Did she worse than 10 Judas, then by him she baby skull. Careful what you pray for, oh, might be what you get for. They say that's the devil that you had and the one you do not know. Before you end up on a slab with a white tag on your toe. Careful what you ask for, hey, careful what you wish for. So why you upset? You're afraid. Hey, we'll take what you get. We went and voted the other day, and for the winds of change we still we finger, dirty we finger. But how quickly things decay, now I know that strange begins to linger. A man got question on Islam on a radio station, then just so get fire branded for discrimination. They said Saruj brew in hell between Hindu and Muslim. Well, if you're seeing Shanish Mela, why you run and tell him, careful what you wish for, what you use your IBM dish for.
News.